The bell hasn't even rung yet, but the world is already on edge. Two warriors, two different eras, one colossal showdown that defies time itself. On one side, the raw, ferocious power of Mike Tyson, the youngest heavyweight champion in history, a man whose very name sent shivers down the spine of anyone who dared stand across from him. On the other, the technical wizardry of Oleksandr Usyk, a modern-day maestro, a master of movement and precision, a man who dismantles giants with surgical accuracy. This isn't just a fight, it's a battle between generations, a clash of styles, a test of whether sheer aggression can conquer supreme skill. And tonight, we find out. Imagine the chaos of the early rounds. Tyson, in his signature black trunks, no robe, no nonsense, storming forward with murderous intent. The same Tyson who crushed legends, who made men question their careers before the fight had even begun. His fists are wrecking balls, his uppercuts short, compact, devastating. He doesn't waste time feeling out his opponent, he simply destroys them. But standing in front of him is no ordinary man. Usyk is elusive, a ghost in the ring, a heavyweight who moves like a welterweight, his footwork a puzzle few have solved. He studied Tyson's every move, every tendency, every weakness. He knows that one wrong step, one mistimed pivot could mean disaster. And yet, he does not flinch. The crowd roars, cameras flash, history unfolds. Tyson lunges, head bobbing, weaving, throwing thunderous hooks, trying to cut off the ring. But Usyk is a different breed, sidestepping, countering, making Tyson miss by inches. His jab is sharp, his combinations flowing, his strategy as precise as a chess grandmaster's opening moves. This is what makes the fight so compelling, brute force against calculated brilliance. It's like watching an unstoppable force meet an immovable object, and no one knows which will break first. For Tyson, this is personal. Every punch carries the weight of a legacy built on destruction. He's been doubted, dismissed, questioned. They say his style wouldn't work against a modern, disciplined tactician like Usyk. But Tyson isn't here for theories. He's here to prove a point. Every ounce of rage, every moment of pain, every lesson learned in the fire of his past fights, all of it is unleashed in the ring. And yet, Usyk remains composed, his icy demeanor unshaken. He doesn't get drawn into brawls. He's here to outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast. The intensity is suffocating. You can hear the heavy breathing, the grunts, the impact of leather on flesh. Every second that passes is a battle of survival and strategy. The question looms over the ring like a storm cloud. Can Tyson land that one fight-ending punch? Or will Usyk pick him apart piece by piece? Tyson's eyes burn with determination. Usyk's mind is a battlefield of calculations. The fight is reaching a boiling point, and then something happens that changes everything. The air inside the arena is electric, thick with anticipation. Every movement, every feint, every breath between these two warriors feels like a moment of history being written in real time. The echoes of the past and the present collide in a single ring. Mike Tyson, a man whose fists have ended fights before they even truly began, against Oleksandr Usyk, a technician so precise that even the most devastating punchers have failed to crack his code. The tension isn't just felt by the fighters. It grips the crowd, the commentators, the millions watching from their screens. Everyone knows this is more than just a boxing match. It's a fight between two philosophies, two mentalities, two entirely different worlds. Tyson presses forward, his signature peekaboo style keeping his head in constant motion, making him a moving target. His gloves are tight to his face, elbows tucked in, a coiled spring ready to explode. Usyk, light on his feet, dances just outside of danger, his eyes locked onto Tyson's every twitch, every subtle shift in weight. He knows Tyson thrives on fear, that his presence alone has broken men before the first punch lands. But Usyk is different. He doesn't just study his opponents, he dissects them. He's fought bigger men, stronger men, but never someone with Tyson's level of ferocity. The contrast between them goes beyond their styles. Tyson is a product of chaos, molded by a brutal past, a life of struggle and survival. From the streets of Brooklyn to the infamous Catskill training camp, where Q's D'Amato shaped him into a wrecking machine, Tyson's journey has been forged in fire. His knockout power, his explosiveness, they aren't just physical traits. They're the embodiment of years of pain, of rage, of a need to dominate before being dominated. Every punch he throws carries the weight of a childhood stolen, of betrayals suffered, of demons he's been fighting long before he ever stepped into a ring. The contrast between them goes beyond their styles. Tyson is a product of chaos, molded by a brutal past, a life of struggle and survival. From the streets of Brooklyn to the infamous Catskill training camp, where Q's D'Amato shaped him into a wrecking machine, Tyson's journey has been forged in fire. His knockout power, his explosiveness, they aren't just physical traits. They're the embodiment of years of pain, of rage, of a need to dominate before being dominated. Every punch he throws carries the weight of a childhood stolen, of betrayals suffered, of demons he's been fighting long before he ever stepped into a ring. Usyk's path, though different, is no less intense. A Ukrainian warrior, born from a lineage of resilience, he comes from a country where toughness isn't just admired, it's expected. His rise through the cruiserweight division was methodical, calculated, a relentless pursuit of perfection. He didn't just defeat champions, he dismantled them, exposed them, left them bewildered in his wake. When he moved up to heavyweight, many doubted him. They said he was too small, that his slick movement wouldn't hold up against the raw power of boxing's biggest men. And yet, he proved them all wrong, outclassing legends, absorbing punishment, and always emerging victorious. The crowd erupts as Tyson finally finds a way inside. A left hook crashes against Usyk's high guard, rattling him, forcing him to retreat. Tyson senses the opening, closing the distance with the speed of a predator. A right uppercut barely misses, grazing Usyk's chin as he pivots away, escaping by the smallest of margins. But something has changed. The invincible aura of Usyk has been tested. He's never faced a fighter who closes the gap this quickly, who cuts off angles this efficiently. For the first time in a long time, Usyk is truly being hunted. Outside the ring, the world watches in fascination, divided between those who believe in the unstoppable force of Tyson's power and those who swear by Usyk's strategic brilliance. Old-school boxing purists argue that Tyson's style was designed to destroy a fighter like Usyk, that no amount of movement can save him from the inevitable storm. Modern analysts, however, see Usyk as the ultimate evolution of boxing, the kind of fighter who has taken everything the sport has learned over a century and refined it into a near-perfect form. The trainers in each corner wear different expressions. Tyson's corner, urging their fighter to stay relentless, to break Usyk's rhythm before he settles in. Usyk's corner, calm, collected, reminding him to stick to the plan, to weather the early rounds, to let Tyson burn through his explosive energy. But strategy only goes so far when two men are in the middle of a war, when instinct and survival take over. Then, Suddenly, a shift. Usyk starts to time Tyson's movements, intercepting him with crisp jabs, stepping to the side before Tyson can unload his full power. The Ukrainian begins landing clean shots, his gloves snapping Tyson's head back just enough to make a statement. The energy in the ring changes Tyson. Once the relentless aggressor now has a puzzle in front of him that refuses to be solved easily. And the more he misses, the more frustrated he becomes. The crowd can feel it. Something is about to give. A fight like this cannot remain in a state of constant tension without something breaking, without someone making a critical mistake. And when it happens, the entire boxing world will never forget what unfolds next. Tyson wipes a thin streak of sweat from his brow, his chest rising and falling like a machine running hot. He's been here before, in wars where every second feels like a fight for survival, but something about Usyk is different. The usual signs of fear, the hesitation, the break in rhythm, the second guessing aren't there. Usyk isn't just absorbing the storm, he's adapting, evolving, finding holes in Tyson's relentless assault that most men never dared to look for. But Tyson doesn't back down. He doubles down. A sudden burst of aggression catches Usyk off guard. Tyson feints to the body, a classic setup, then fires a left hook upstairs that lands flush against Usyk's temple. The sound of the impact echoes through the arena, and for the first time, Usyk's legs betray him. He stumbles not down, not out, but visibly shaken. The crowd erupts, sensing blood. Tyson sees it too, his instincts screaming at him to finish what he started. He lunges forward, his hands a blur of destruction, throwing hooks and uppercuts with the kind of violence that once made him the most feared man in the sport. Usyk, dazed but not broken, does something no one expects. Instead of retreating, instead of clinching or circling away, he stands his ground. His left hand shoots out like a piston, snapping Tyson's head back. Another jab follows, then a sharp right hook. Tyson's momentum stalls, and suddenly, the hunter becomes the hunted. The Ukrainian champion, known for his movement, for his patience, is now in the trenches, trading with the most dangerous puncher in boxing history. The air in the arena shifts. This isn't just a boxing match anymore. It's a battle of wills, a test of who can endure the fire the longest. Outside the ring, the tension spreads like wildfire. Commentators can't believe what they're witnessing. Usyk, the master technician, choosing to fight in close quarters against Tyson's devastating power. Analysts scramble to make sense of it, questioning if this is a brilliant adjustment or a reckless mistake. In the crowd, legends of the sport watch with wide eyes, knowing that fights like these don't come around often, that moments like this define careers. Then, in a split second, the fight takes a dramatic turn. Tyson, growing frustrated, dips low and launches one of his signature right uppercuts. It's a shot that has ended fights before, that has shattered jaws and stolen consciousness in an instant. But Usyk, even in the chaos, sees it coming. At the very last moment, he leans just enough to his left, making Tyson's fist slice through empty space. And then counter. A left cross, perfectly timed, lands clean on Tyson's chin, snapping his head sideways. The crowd gasps as Tyson staggers back, his legs momentarily unsteady. No one saw this coming. Not like this. Tyson has been hit before, hurt before, but something about this moment feels different. He's caught in a place he rarely finds himself off balance, unsure, forced to reset. Usyk, sensing the shift, doesn't hesitate. He presses forward, his gloves firing like precision-guided missiles, targeting every opening Tyson gives him. The combination of speed, accuracy, and sheer confidence from Usyk is something even Tyson didn't fully anticipate. For the first time in the fight, the tide has turned. Tyson's corner shouts instructions, urging him to compose himself, to slow down and find his way back into the fight. But across the ring, Usyk's corner senses something else entirely, a rare moment where the great Mike Tyson is vulnerable. They yell for their fighter to capitalize, to push harder, to do what so many before him failed to do, break Tyson before Tyson breaks him. The stakes have never been higher, and yet deep down, everyone watching knows this war is far from over. Tyson's back is against the wall, but history has shown what happens when he's cornered. And just when it seems like Usyk is in full control, something shifts in Tyson's eyes. Something dangerous. Something primal. What happens next will change everything. Tyson blinks hard, his vision momentarily blurred from Usyk's precision strike. The noise of the arena fades into a dull roar in his ears. He's hurt, but something deep inside him refuses to let go. He's been here before, in places darker than this ring, in moments where everything seemed lost. And every time, he's found a way back. His fists tighten, his breathing steadies, and that familiar fire reignites in his eyes. Usyk, sensing his opponent's resilience, doesn't let up. He moves in, pressing the advantage, but he's now stepping into dangerous territory. Tyson isn't just a fighter, he's a survivor. Then, in an instant, Tyson explodes forward. A brutal right hand slams into Usyk's ribs, folding him slightly. It's a punch meant to send a message, to remind Usyk that even a second of overconfidence can be deadly. Usyk grits his teeth, but Tyson is already closing the gap, bobbing and weaving like the wrecking machine of old. The next hook connects to Usyk's arm, forcing him to shift his stance, and that's all Tyson needs. He pivots, loads up, and unleashes an uppercut that lands flush on Usyk's jaw. The Ukrainian stumbles back, his feet nearly betraying him, his body struggling to hold up under the sheer force of Tyson's power. The crowd is on its feet. No one is breathing. Usyk has never been rocked like this before. His head clears for a moment, and he does the only thing his instincts tell him to move. He circles, jabs, trying to regain his rhythm, but Tyson smells blood. He lunges in again, his fists hammering at Usyk's defenses, forcing him against the ropes. The entire fight has led to this moment, two warriors pushing beyond their limits, one relying on raw destruction, the other on pure technique. And then, in the chaos, the moment that changes everything. As Tyson throws another crushing right hand, Usyk does the impossible. He ducks low, twists his body, and lands a counter left that catches Tyson at the perfect angle. The punch isn't just clean, it's devastating. Tyson's legs buckle. His body wobbles, and for the first time in what feels like an eternity, Mike Tyson is going down. The world seems to move in slow motion as his massive frame crashes onto the canvas. The crowd erupts in shock. The referee rushes in. Tyson blinks up at the ceiling lights, his breathing heavy, his mind racing. The referee begins the count. Tyson rolls to his side, his gloves pressing into the mat, every muscle in his body screaming as he fights to rise. The count reaches 6, 7, 8. Tyson gets to a knee. His face is a mix of exhaustion and defiance. 9. And just as the referee is about to call 10, Tyson stands up. The arena explodes in cheers and disbelief. He's hurt, but he refuses to stay down. Usyk exhales sharply, nodding to himself. He knows the job isn't done yet. The final moments are a blur of desperation and heart. Tyson, running on pure instinct, charges forward one last time, swinging with everything he has left. Usyk, battered but still composed, meets him in the center of the ring. They trade back and forth, neither willing to give an inch. But the difference is clear. Usyk's shots are sharper, more precise. Tyson's movements are slowing, his punches still dangerous, but growing wilder. With seconds left in the round, Usyk lands another crisp 1-2, forcing Tyson to stumble back. The bell rings. It's over. The arena is deafening. Both men stand in the center of the ring, their faces bruised, their bodies worn, their spirits unbroken. The judges deliberate, the tension unbearable. Then, the decision is announced. Oleksandr Usyk wins by unanimous decision. A mixture of emotions floods the arena: cheers, disbelief, admiration. Tyson, breathing heavy, nods at the result. He steps forward and shakes Usyk's hand, the respect between them undeniable. As the cameras capture the moment, the world is left with one undeniable truth. This wasn't just a fight. It was a clash of eras, of philosophies, of legends. Tyson, the relentless warrior of old, proved that his fire still burns. Usyk, the modern-day genius, solidified his place among the greats. But in the end, boxing itself was the true winner.